All right, what's going on, everybody? So, my Flux node, Cumulus node, that was set up earlier this week, last night, caught its first, came up on its first block reward, which I'm pretty happy with. And, just to kind of give an explanation of how Flux nodes work, right? The nodes are broken up into three tiers, right? You've got your Cumulus node, you've got your Nimbus node, and you've got your Stratus node. And depending on where you are in that rank structure, you're going to get your block reward. So a block reward in Flux is made every 2 minutes, right? There are 50% of the block reward goes to miners, GPU miners. The other 50% gets broken up between node operators. So what'll happen is when you come up to rank number 1, right? So the number 1 rank on Stratus, the number 1 rank on Nimbus, the number 1 rank on Cumulus now gets that divvied up block reward. All right. So in my case, for a Nimbus node, your block reward is going to be 5.625 flux. So every time you, just think of a countdown. Every time you come back to rank number 1 and that block reward hits, you're going to get 5.625 flux. Of course, now with the happening, you've almost quadrupled the amount of Cumulus node operators that there are. But the difference between, say, a Flux node and some of these other nodes that you'll see, this isn't a true validation node, right? This isn't like a Thor node or a strong block node or, some of these other, like the VPND one that I did a video on, where you are contributing your liquidity, right? So you're contributing, say, 1,000 of a coin or 100 of a coin. And that's it. That's your contribution. And now you've got to get that in return. With Flux, when you stake your 1,000 flux, it's still yours, right? You still maintain that ownership. The only thing you're doing is you're locking it up to, and think about it. Think about how many people have just locked up liquidity to where they're not going to be selling that flux. So that's a guarantee that you're not going to get selling pressure on this coin. Which for me, again, I've been very bullish on Flux. If you guys remember last summer when we were at like 20 cents, I was personally buying Flux. I've been GPU mining Flux on 2 of my rigs, making, I probably make about 50 flux because that's my payout threshold. I make 50 flux every like 6 days on my GPU miners. And now I've just added another source of flux. Okay. Think about it like this. Think about, most people, especially if you're new to crypto, running an Ethereum node, you need 32 Ethereum to run a node, right? To be self-hosting. And when your block reward comes up, you're going to get, that block reward for the Ethereum, which could be anywhere, if you're paying attention to what these block rewards are, it could be anywhere from 2 Ethereum to, I think today there was 2 on 2 miners that gave a 40 and a 60 Ethereum payout. So imagine being that operator and you're getting that reward. You're getting that 2 Ethereum, minus the break between proof of stake and proof of work. Flux, in my opinion, is going to be there one day. We are going to be, I think we're going to overtake Ethereum, right? I think Flux, once Web 3.0 really takes off, you're going to see that appreciation in price. I mean, currently, what are we trading at? $1.44. If you see it on the screen, you're trading at $1.44. We were up almost at $4 at December's highs. So I'm perfectly fine not making $1 bazillion every month off Flux rewards, because for me, this isn't a short-term investment opportunity. This is for the long term. I want to see where Flux is in 10, 15 years, and I'm going to continue to run my 2 Cumulus nodes. I'm actually going to convert the 1 Cumulus node that I have as soon as the Nimbus halvening happens, which right now it's about March 20th, March 21st. So in about 3-4 days is when that halvening goes from 25,000 flux to 12,500. I'm going to run that Nimbus reward so that I can get those enhanced or those larger returns with a smaller pool, because there's going to be less Nimbus operators than there are going to be Cumulus, just like there's going to be less Stratus node operators than there are going to be Nimbus. So I'm not quite at the Stratus level yet. Eventually, one day, hopefully I will be. But just some things I wanted to really, bring to everybody's attention, because I think there's that misconception that, oh yeah, this is going to make us $1 billion. It's not. I'll tell you right now, it's not. But you're also not contributing a large amount of liquidity like you would in some of these other nodes. A strong block node, right? When it was at $1,000, okay, and you had to contribute 10 strong, all right, guess what? At $1,000 times 10, you can do the math. That's a large amount of equity that you're just giving up, and now you have to take the gamble that you're going to get that return. You know what I'm saying? And that's not something you have to do with Flux here. All right. I did want to bring this out. So there's a couple of things you could see. I'll bring this up here on my node. You can see I started it up on March 13th at 3:15 p.m. is when I staked that 1,000 Flux. And I honestly didn't get it to go live because I was downloading everything for it. So probably closer towards the 14th. So it took about 3 full days for me to get my 5.625 Flux. And I got that last night at 2 o'clock in the morning. And you can see when you come over here to and I just took some screenshots of it. When you come over here to the actual, through Zelcore, you go over to my node, you can see it's confirmed. It is a Cumulus one. Currently there's just over 3,300 Cumulus nodes. So how that works is when for me, once I hit number 1 in the rank and I got paid out, right now you can see my rank structure. I go right back down to the bottom of the pool, and you can see currently I'm at rank 3297. So every 2 minutes that number is going to decrease, right? We're going to keep going lower and lower and lower until I get back to number 1. I get paid out my block reward, and then I just continue that cycle. So for me, this is the epitome of passive income because I do nothing. All I do is just make sure that my Raspberry Pi has power, that my internet is up, and that's it, right? This is a very simple node structure. And again, it's not designed to make $1 billion, right? You're not going to do that. Now, the potential is there because as Flux appreciates, as more and more, if you're on my Twitter feed, you'll see that I've been dropping a lot of things on the Web 3.0 that Flux is really spearheading. And then the partnership between Flux and Kadena, which is, I think, going to be just a strong powerhouse in the Web 3.0 community. So, I wanted to just touch base, kind of give you your, what I'm looking at. And, if you've got your node set up and you've been paid out already, congrats. You got paid, you got your block reward in Flux for doing absolutely nothing, for just sitting there and sharing the network that you're running your node on. If you have any questions, I'll drop the video that up at the top here. I'll drop the link to the video that I did earlier this week on how to set up the node. And once the Nimbus halving happens, depending on, it's really going to be the same setup. You're just going to be staking the 12,500 Flux, and it just requires, I won't be able to do it on a Raspberry Pi. I actually just used one of my old GPU test benches. I just did that. I just threw an extra stick of RAM, made sure that my, bought an SSD drive off of Amazon, and I'll be running that from actually my mining rig. It'll be on my shelf in my grow tent. So with that, hopefully you guys have got the information. You understand how this works. And if you have any questions, throw it in the comments. I'll try to answer them as quick as I can. With that, listen, have a great one. I'll catch you on the next video.